on the sun-drenched Serengeti plains, an immutable law has been written by instinct and survival over millions of years. Predator and prey never stand on the same side. It is a world of invisible but harsh boundaries, where a shared glance often ends in a life-or-death chase. But on one radiant afternoon, as the golden sunlight poured like peach nectar over the slender needles of the acacia trees, that law was shaken by a miracle no one expected. Zola, a warthog with dusty gray skin and eyes containing a deep sorrow, was wandering through patches of dry grass under the thin shade of the thorny acacia groves. Only a short time ago, she had lost her small litter in a fierce drought. This mother's heart was now like an empty cave, echoing only with solitude. Yet, amidst the rustling whine through the brittle acacia branches, a faint sound stopped her in her tracks. It was not a majestic roar, but the trembling whimper of Carrie, a lost lion cub. He was small, exhausted, and huddling under the intense heat. In that moment, a big question hung in the air. What happens when the bleeding heart of a mother meets the cry of an ancestral enemy? Would the instinct of fear cause Zola to run away? Or would maternal love build a bridge across the abyss of difference? Zola stood frozen, the stiff bristles on her back rising according to the instinct of an animal that is always a target for bloody hunts. In her mind, millions of years of evolution were screaming, "Run!" Carrie, though just a small golden ball of fur, carried in his blood the destiny of a top predator, one who would one day not hesitate to take down her kind. The lion cub looked up, his pale yellow eyes cloudy from dehydration, trying to let out a tiny growl, a weak effort to protect himself. But the sound had no authority. It was merely the broken breath of a creature nearing death. Zola did not see a future king. She only saw a child shivering under the scorching sun of the savannah. The pain of losing her offspring, which had not yet faded, suddenly found a strange anchor. She took one step, then two, cautiously approaching the shade of the acacia tree. Instead of using tusks to attack, Zola used her rough snout to gently nudge Kara's tattered fur. The lion cub initially backed away in fear, but the warmth radiating from Zola's large body provided a strange reassurance he had lost since losing his mother. Compassion triumphed over fear. Zola knew this little one could not eat grass or dry roots. With extraordinary patience, she began searching for succulent bushes and water-bearing tubers deep underground near the old acacia roots. She used her strong legs to dig them up, then chewed the juiciest parts. Without breast milk, Zola learned to squeeze every drop of sweet liquid from those roots, letting them drip into Kara's parched mouth. It was a sight that defied all logic of nature, a warthog meticulously caring for a lion. Amidst the stillness of the savannah afternoon, the boundary between predator and prey seemed to vanish into thin air. Zola was not just saving Kara's life. She was saving her own soul from the withered state of loneliness. This connection required no language. It was built on cherished drops of water and silent presence in the most critical hours. Time passed on the savannah like the gentle flow of a small river after a flood. In the following days, under the sheltering shade of the old acacia grove, a secret sanctuary was formed, a place where the cruel rules of nature were forgotten. Carrie began to recover miraculously. His eyes were no longer cloudy with fatigue, but had regained their sharp intelligence, sparkling with the characteristic golden hue of the great wild. Each step was no longer trembling. Instead, it was the playfulness of a child exploring the world under Zola's indulgent supervision. A strange scene took place every early morning. The lion cub would enthusiastically chase the warthog's short tail or try to pounce on Zola's back like an innocent hunting game. Zola, who should have been terrified of every movement from a big cat, now just stood still, snorting kindly. Sometimes, she even used her coarse snout to groom Kara's fur, picking out bits of dry grass, just as she had once done for her own young. Carrie responded by nuzzling into Zola's gray, tough skin, seeking protection whenever distant thunder echoed from the horizon. Observers would find here a new definition of family. In Western culture, it is often called a found family. It is not based on bloodlines, nor on physical similarity, but is bound by presence and empathy. Zola taught Carrie how to find cool water holes under the dry mud, and Carrie gave Zola a reason to keep walking every day. The daytime savanna air was pleasant, the pungent scent of burnt grass mingling with the smell of fresh acacia leaves, creating an unusually peaceful setting. However, behind that peace, Zola's heart could not help but feel hidden anxieties. She watched Carrie grow every day, his tiny fangs becoming sharper, and the instinct of a predator occasionally flickering in his eyes as he watched herds of antelope run by. Zola understood that no matter how great her love, she could not change the destiny of a king. He did not belong in dark burrows or to bitter roots. Carrie belonged to the vast sky, to the sovereignty and freedom that only lions can reach. That truth was bitter but as clear as the midday sun. She was nurturing a soul that could not be imprisoned by the selfishness of maternal love. The savanna sky remained a peaceful blue, but the atmosphere began to grow heavy with the anticipation of parting. From the horizon, where the acacia groves were hazy in the morning mist, the thunderous roars of Mara, the mother lion, began to shake the ground. It was a sound containing fury, despair, and the absolute authority of a queen searching for her flesh and blood. Every time that roar sounded, Carrie would prick his small ears, his eyes lighting up with a vague hope for his origins, though he did not leave Zola's side. Zola stood on a high mound, the midday sun casting a mournful beauty over her gray skin. She looked at Carrie, who was no longer the sickly kitten of before, but was beginning to show the majestic lines of a wilderness warrior. She realized a painful truth. She could not raise a lion on love and roots forever. Carrie was beginning to grow thin due to the lack of nutrients that only meat and blood could provide. If she continued to keep him out of maternal selfishness, she would unintentionally cause him to wither away in dark burrows. True love, as Zola understood it now, was not possession, but sacrificed so the other could return to where they truly belonged. The final decision was made on a sun-drenched afternoon. Zola used her snout to gently push Carrie out of the acacia shade, toward the roars that were growing closer. She knew this was the most dangerous journey of her life. A warthog appearing before a pride of angry lions was nothing short of a suicidal act. But the fear of death was not as great as the fear that Carrie would lose his future. She nipped lightly at his scruff, a gesture only mother lions do, and began to stride across the golden grass. Under the blazing African sun, the image of a small warthog leading a lion cub across the dead land became a breathtakingly quiet moment. Zola did not run. She did not prepare her tusks to fight, nor did she seek an escape route. The only thing she carried was a fragile faith that love could overcome the enmity between species. Every step on the dry ground was a testament to her courage. She was walking to fulfill her final mission, to return life to where it belonged, even if the price might be her own life. In that moment, the entire savanna seemed to stop breathing. As Zola stepped out of the last acacia thicket, before her was Mara, a giant silhouette with golden fur and eyes burning with murderous intent. The pride was on high alert, claws ready to finish off any intruder. But instead of running in panic, Zola did something that astonished everyone. She slowly lowered Carrie onto the green grass, right in front of the raging queen, then stood still, exposing her vulnerable neck as a sign of complete submission. Carrie, recognizing the familiar warmth of his mother, rushed to nuzzle against Mara's legs with whining cries. A silence enveloped the space. Mara froze as she leaned down to sniff her child. She saw no scent of blood, no traces of abuse. Instead, there was the characteristic scent of roots, of care, and the warmth of an animal that was normally prey. In that fleeting moment between life and death, a new law was established. Mara looked up at Zola, not with the eyes of a predator looking at dinner, but with the deep understanding between two mothers who had tasted the pain of losing a child. No slaughter took place. Mara let out a low growl, a signal for the pride to step back, creating an honorary path for the friend of a different species. Zola slowly turned and walked away among the shadows of the sunlit acacia groves. She did not look back, but her heart was now lighter than ever. The pain of the children lost in the fire seemed to have been soothed by the life she had just returned. She was no longer a failed mother. She had become a symbol of compassion that redeemed the entire savanna. The story of Zola and Carrie reminds us that, in a world full of barriers and prejudices, kindness is the strongest bridge. If a warthog can overcome the instinct for survival to protect an enemy, then perhaps humans can also find harmony amidst the greatest differences. Never underestimate the power of a heart that knows how to love, for it is the only thing that can change even the harshest rules of nature, turning hatred into eternal hope.